Chelsea's double hat puts Liverpool in awkward position early in the season. Not so long ago, Kings were praised for their large market moves. Now, however, they seem to have no idea what they're doing. Shortly after the final whistle at Stamford Bridge, Sunday, 13, Liverpool coach Jurgen Klopp was asked about the fact that the rival of that day, Chelsea, still hopes to hit with reinforcements before the end of this transfer window. "It's what every Chelsea manager wants," said the German during the post-match press conference. "And usually they get what they want." Chelsea's clear, spendthrift policy of last year was obviously a nuisance. The more than £1 billion, values above 6.35 billion Brazilian reals, invested in just 3 windows trigger natural envy among rivals, even more so when it comes to an era of financial fair play. Klopp's bitter stance towards the Blues is therefore completely understandable, even more so after losing 2 big targets in just a few days, Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. An embarrassing mess. At the end of the day, there's no reason to be ashamed of not being able to match a Chelsea bid. It's hard to beat a club that not only offer astronomical values for potential signings, but also offer incredibly long and fat contracts to potential new signings. Any businessman would tell you this, away from the cameras. At least, salary is usually a determining factor for any deal to be signed. However, Chelsea may even have complicated Liverpool in attempts to solve their problems in the midfield, but they're certainly not responsible for them being there. Indeed, Jamie Carragher and Alan Shearer were right to call the Reds' recent days behind the scenes embarrassing, for it is, indeed, a mess of their own making. A bright start, which is pretty shocking, really, as Liverpool kicked off the window by arranging the arrivals of Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai at the end of June. The quality of these reinforcements, and the speed with which the deals were closed, renewed fans' faith in the signing strategy at Anfield after they misguided the idea of waiting until 2023 to sign Jude Bellingham, the team's priority for the future, which he signed with Real Madrid for less than what the team offered Brighton for Caicedo. So when Fabinho and Jordan Henderson were cleared to pack for Saudi Arabia, it was assumed that Liverpool already had something underway with a top-notch replacement. Unexpected route change. Lavia was the first option of the Reds, who did not believe that the Belgian cost the £50 million, approximately $317.2 million Brazilian reals, that Southampton asked for his release, which is fair, given the fact that he is an athlete aged just 19 and coming off just his first good season in the Premier League. It was then, however, that Chelsea came into play, and Liverpool responded by settling Brighton for Caicedo for £110 million, which was as impressive as it was intriguing. The Ecuadorian is better and has more experience than Lavia, but he was very overrated. It is worth remembering that Sandro Tonali, an Italian who helped Milan reach the Champions League semi-finals last season, closed with Newcastle for almost half of that amount. So, if Liverpool had discarded Caicedo and Lavia because of the values, the fans could, once again, complain about the great parsimony and too much prudence of the board. But still, they wouldn't criticize the club's window approach. Now, however, the Reds are being derided as having more money than sense, which is impressive given the club's recent record of being regarded as masters of the transfer market. Took the risk. Certainly, Liverpool were unwilling to bow to Southampton's demands, even after losing Caicedo, and pay more than £50 million on Lavia. When they did, it was clear there was panic behind the scenes at the club, which doesn't go well with the idea of finding a nice new number 5. Now, any seller would know Liverpool's desperation, and how much they were willing to pay. As in poker, after showing their hand in the proposal for Caicedo, the Reds ran the risk of being left with nothing, and the fans now have the right to know why. Indeed, the mere fact that they are still looking for answers to their midfield woes in mid-August raises a number of uncomfortable questions. The main one, whose fault is it for being in this position? Did Klopp contribute to the chaos? Jurg Schmadtke's work has been widely criticized, given that the new commander of the Reds has only agreed on a signing since he replaced Julian Ward in June, and, even so, he didn't even need many negotiation maneuvers, given that bringing Szoboszlai depended solely on activate the release clause of your contract with RB Leipzig. However, the decision to appoint Schmadtke is now also questioned, as well as Klopp's share of blame, his compatriot. But a reinforcement would also do a lot of good for the fans' frustration, which, today, seems to be very close to its peak, again. Klopp is clearly not very happy about this, however, so much so that, after the game against the Blues, he even made some jokes about it. But at the moment, the big joke in world football has been Liverpool and their market antics. This means that there is still a lot of work to be done for the club to regain its former well-run status. The crowd's frustration reaches its peak. For now, of course, the focus will be on hiring at least one new steering wheel. Mac Allister is a very talented midfielder who had good moments against Chelsea on Sunday. The match also made it clear that the central defence quartet needs more protection, but who does not have the characteristic of playing the role of first defensive midfielder. A worthy replacement for Fabinho is needed if Liverpool are to aim for a top 4 finish this season in the Premier League, needless to say for the title. But a reinforcement would also do a lot of good for the fans' frustration, which, today, seems to be very close to its peak, again. Klopp is clearly not very happy about this, however, so much so that, after the game against the Blues, he even made some jokes about it. But at the moment, the big joke in world football has been Liverpool and their market antics. This means that there is still a lot of work to be done for the club to regain its former well-run status. John Henry was at Stamford Bridge this weekend. He certainly realised that there is a need for special attention now that Caicedo is not coming, so the ball is in his side of the court. The challenge is to bring in someone to contribute to the team before August 31st. Also because Klopp knows what he wants, and what he needs. The question, however, is whether he will finally have what he seeks. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications and don't miss the next videos.